Good evening. Good evening, guys. Welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. So we're gonna start to code JavaScript in depth, functional programming today. Functional programming supreme. This is my keyboard, Ultimate Hacking Keyboard 80, UHK 80. Search my YouTube, you'll find reviews. Okay. Now let's get on to code. Okay, so here is today's talk show showing browser, so you can see my Emacs. So those are the most powerful editor, Emacs, that I'm using. The pink window shows all my command calls and keystrokes. You can see, why can't I just, so you can see, oh, it didn't, wait, what happened to my, it does not let me move my cursor up. Anyway, so let's focus on JavaScript, okay, JavaScript. So we're gonna do functional programming, okay, so let's start to do it. Okay, I'm gonna teach you something about functional programming in JavaScript. Okay, hey brother, AC, hello, awesome. The show still on? Yes, test, audio check, video check, right? Okay, so JavaScript. Okay, so let's go to let's begin JavaScript. JavaScript in depth and scroll down. So this is the best tutorial on JavaScript, my tutorial. Okay, so let's just go to functional programming. Okay, so you can check miscellaneous at the bottom. There's an advanced section about functional programming. JavaScript exclamation before function, I should move those away. Anyway, here, so JavaScript style guide for functional programmers. Okay, so I have a bunch of tips. If you want to format your JavaScript code, I recommend Deno format. Deno, okay, Deno is the best thing. Download Deno. Okay, Deno is much better than npm or Node.js. Okay, so I recommend Deno for code formatting, and disable auto format for code block. If you want to do that, yes, sometimes you need to do that because sometimes you have, anyway, there are occasions you need to do this. Okay, but let's go back. Never use var. So anyway, I have some tips. Okay, but first of all, so these are basic tips arranged from the most easy to understand, easy to do, then to the most advanced functional programming tips. Okay, so in the beginning, so for example, by the way, you can see my code, my functional programming code. This is Unicode. So let's go to Unicode. I got a lot of things to do to talk about, so at this rate we'll never finish. So for example, this is Unicode search. You can type anything, let's say FIRE, and it will show up. Let's shrink. It will show up all the characters as you type. For example, FIRE show up dynamically, or Unicode whose name contains FIRE. Or let's try water. Okay, WATER. Okay, let's say fruit, FRU. Okay, there's only one Unicode character whose name contains the word FRU. Okay, let's say when you try something funky that's more interesting, let's say number, NUMBER. So NUN. So why am I capital case? NUMBER. So you got more than 500 characters. That's number. Okay, so let's see. So let's try. So now let's do THOUSAN. So you got 122 characters. So these are all characters in different human languages that represents the number 1000. Okay, very interesting. Okay, so you can see this code. This is Unicode. So let's go to Unicode. .ts. So that is the that code is the search. So that is that JavaScript search TypeScript. Okay, so this wait, that's the data part. So search is this part. Okay, so this is all pure functional code. Okay, so that's the I'm talking about that because I was gonna tell you where the screenshot came from. So I mean, the screenshot just give you a sense of like what functional programming style looks like in JavaScript. So you can see this file. Okay, so this file is only like 300 lines. Okay, pure functional programming, fantastic. Okay, so we talked about that. Close. We got a lot of things to do actually. Don't close that. Okay, so showing browser. What is this? Unicode block. Close. Showing browser. Okay, so I want to tell you about functional programming guide. Okay, so in the beginning, you just don't use var and always declare variables. Okay, declare them by let or constant. Okay, never use double equal because double equal, they automatically do type conversion. So then you get a situation. If you do compare empty string versus empty array, it will come out equal or some weird result, double equal. So don't use that. Use triple equal. Okay, so there's full detail about that. So all these are easy to do things. Never use for in loop because for in loop they will go up to the parent chain, which is basically never what you want. They go to the prototype chain. Okay, so you want to use object.keys instead or for of loop. Okay. Object.keys, then do for each, then you can also do, so there's a bunch of ways to list properties in JavaScript. You can use object.keys and object get own property names and reflect.onKeys. They are a bit complicated because in JavaScript, you got the issue of enumerable keys versus symbol keys versus string keys. So each way to list the keys differ depending on whether you want non-enumerable keys to be included or if you want the symbol keys to be included. Usually you don't want, okay, but sometimes you do. And or if you want them to go to up the prototype chain, so that if you want that then you use for in loop, but almost you never want that. Okay, so the key here is don't use for in loop, okay, because most people don't know. They just like for in because that's the most familiar because that exists in lots of other languages like Python. But that's a mistake. If you do that in JavaScript, that's a mistake. For in loop, don't use that, okay? Use for of loop. So for of loop, that I have an introduction. So let's see for in loop. For of loop is introduced in 2015. Okay, so use that. Don't do for in. Okay, so these are tips for functional programming and as well as some other basically JavaScript tips. For example, this for in loop, that's not really about functional programming. It's about JavaScript problems you want to avoid. Okay, anyway, let's move on. So with, never use with. In fact, with got you can't even use it today because they in Deno, for example, they in any code that contains a module of JavaScript, they automatically evaluate it. They turn the mod into a use strict mod, which does not allow with statement. Okay, so anyway, that's a with statement. I don't know if you guys even know about that because nobody use it. Okay, so never assign array by index. Okay, that's another issue. Like sometimes in other programming languages, you just create an array and you assign array index 0 equals to something, index n equals to something, right? Don't do that in JavaScript, okay? Because that will create a sparse array. Sparse array means you got an array, but some item does not exist. It's like you got this complicated situation like array, but some item that doesn't actually exist. So what happens if you map some function to the array? Weird things happen depending on which method you use. For example, if you use map, they skip this non-existent indexes. But if you use some other function, let's say array.form or .field, depending on the method, so then they will automatically fill these empty indexes by a value of undefined. Okay, so depends on the method. So you got the complicated situation whenever you call a method on an array, you have to think about, whether this is sparse or not, which method I'm using on it, whether that method, how they deal with array when it is sparse array. Okay, so in general, you never want anything, you never want the situation of sparse array to happen. Okay, so one of the tips to avoid sparse array is just never assign an array element like that. Usually this is not a good thing to do anyway. In algorithms, usually you want to manipulate array in a systematic way, like push, pop, shift, unshift. Those are common ways to common methodology in data structure in algorithms, because those are stacks. So when you use array like a stack, you want push, pop, shift, and shift. Okay, so that's a common way to do it. But if you need to remove items in array, for example, array represent, let's say, some list of things, that's important things. So when you finish with that thing, you don't want the list, you don't want it to be in an array, right? Suppose this array means a to-do list or existing bank account, something, right? So if an account is closed, you don't want that element to be in an array anymore. So if you want to systematically deal with array, you use a splice method. Okay, so array prototype, these are all array methods. You want to use splice, or even better, if you are doing functional programming, you use toSpliced. So this toSpliced is added in 2023, 2 years ago. What does it do? It's exactly like splice, except it returns a new value. It does not modify the array. Okay, so it's like, so this, this JavaScript is trying to fix lots of things, trying to improve. So this new function 2 years ago, toSpliced. Okay, so anyway, that's about array. So am I doing good? Do you guys like what I'm doing? Because I want to move on, because I'm, usually I don't like to give a tutorial, because I got lots of things to do. I need to work on my tutorial. So this page, if I continue to expand each item quickly, so we are here about never assign array by index. We are almost halfway. Then you got the issue about the delete operator, basically never use it. Okay, so how am I doing? Do you guys want me to go through this, or I move on to something I need to do for my website? So I explain along what I'm doing. Okay, so let me know, AC. So let's see what you guys saying. So let's see. It's very annoying. Every time you click on this, it automatically create this channel stuff. So let's see. I look at all things not to do in language at my level, it's faster. I look at all the things not to do in a language at my level, it's faster. Okay, I kind of understand what you mean, but not exactly. Yeah, I guess that's one way to not to do. Okay, so avoid things. That's one way to learn, I guess, or something. Do you use flight check? No, I don't use flight check. I never used flight checker. No linter. Okay, so in fact, I despise the jargon linter that came from C idiots. Okay, the word linter, as far as I know, it's from 1990s. It's from the C programming kind of, or C++ community. They have this concept of linter. What it does is that it's a tool, it's a command line tool basically that check your code. They do several things, like they try to warn you if you have it's kind of like a style checker. Okay, It's style checker and also kind of a formatter. Sometimes it helps you reformat your code. Sometimes it so that's what it is, linter. Okay, but usually it gives you like lots of warning. Oh, by the way, you shouldn't name variables with underscore. Like style guide. So anyway, that's called linter. I despise that. So in the realm of software formatting style guide, there's something very important happened in 2009, around 2009. That is the invention of the Go programming language, which came with a automatic formatter for the whole language. Like you can format 1,000 files, all files in a directory. You just format in one way only. So you don't debate about, oh, but I like this way of formatting. I like, space instead of tab or whatever. Fuck. So that's Go format. They revolutionized the programming industry around 2009, 2008 or so. Go language, okay, by Rob Pike and another guy or two. But Rob Pike is most famous, so he almost always get the credit. Rob Pike and another guy. I have to look up robot something, I think. So Go format, okay, Golang. They come with it. You don't have it. It's not like a separate tool. It come with a compiler. So Go format. So you format entire code in source directory, right? And also there's one very critical thing about it. Okay, unlike the linter fuck. Okay, Go format is like a tool that completely understands the Go programming language syntax. So it's part of the compiler. It's not exactly compiler because they do different things. They have different requirements. But if you're gonna write it, but anyway, it's like a compiler. It understands the Go programming language syntax fully, grammar. Okay, so it can reformat code. So this is the most important thing. When you have a code, let's okay, let's say can we do Go? Yes. Okay, so let's do Go land. Okay, I'm starting to digress. I want to get back to JavaScript because I got a lot of things to do. Okay, so let me talk quickly. So Go. So for example, here is Go file. You can run it. It'll just print 33. Okay, first time it needs to load the Go compiler. So there you go, 33. Okay, so you can say, hi guys, supreme functional programming. Okay, now run it. Fantastic. Okay, now let's make it the whole thing one line. Okay, Golang supreme, run it. Wait, oh, okay. When you want to make them one line, you have to do then you need the semicolon. Okay, wait. Okay, so make them one line. Okay, run it. Fantastic, Golang. Okay, now here is Go format. Okay, look carefully at Go format. So now I press a key, it will call. Oh, it's already done. Wait, let's see. It will call my wait, let me start Xah command log mode start. Okay, it doesn't. So global stop what? Global stop. Wait. Global command log mode. That will stop it. Okay. Now close that new window and make it small. Now start command log mod. Okay. Yeah, for some reason it's not let me move cursor up. I should be able to, but not today for some reason. Okay, so let me so we digressed all over. So let's go back. Okay, let me go back quickly. So anyway, the critical thing about the Go format, how it revolutionized the industry, is that First of all, it's bundled with Golang, Go language. And it's not just a linter. The linter is like the most idiotic thing. They don't understand the programming grammar, language grammar. It's just like trying to do some text processing, to try to tell you if you format it correctly or whatever. Linter, okay? From the C++ idiots, I despise them because this is not superficial complaint. That because they are a brand, they don't work correctly, okay, when it comes to like proper design. So anyway, Go format, okay, it create a revolution in programming industry with respect to coding style and formatting because of two things. One is that because this tool understand the programming language, okay, that's one thing, okay, so it can format the whole line. For example, let's do it. Yeah, it can format the whole line even if you have them in one single line. You see, right now it's one single line. Let's run it. It works. But now I press a key, I have a command written in Emacs. So I press a key that which does call the Go format, the shell command. It does it behind the scene. So so I call it. Now wait, there's a mistake there. So let's so save it, run it. Okay. Hi, Supreme Functional Programming. Now call Go format, press Tab F. You see? Now you can run it again, still works. You see, what Go format does is that it's capable of, if you have the whole thing, a valid code in one single line, it will format it correctly. No other linter or whatever format did this before. None. Zero. Okay? Zero. Like when you talk to the C programmers, they don't understand. Their brain are fucked. Their brain are fucked, the C and C++ coders. Okay? Now listen one more time. Okay? Before Go format, there is no linter program in whatsoever language. If you have a programming language that is valid, but you put them into a one line, single line, there is no linter or whatever that you call it that will reformat it into multiple lines. Okay, Go format is the first one that did that. Well, actually, there's one before that. Wolfram language. Okay, Wolfram language beginning in 1996, which I demonstrated about this format many times. Okay, so Wolfram language did it in 1996 with Wolfram Mathematica version 3. 1996. That is like 10 years before Golang. Okay, but Golang, but Wolfram language is like the scientific mathematical physics community, so it's it's a bit different from the industrial programmers, the operating systems, the file systems, the web or whatever. So but Golang is the first one that revolutionized this with the Go format. Okay, it format the whole thing. It understands the programming language grammar, but it also, and therefore it is able to format from one single line to multiple lines. None of the linter does it. Okay, so anyway, that's a major digression. Okay, so I started to rant, and a lot of people like that because now I got like 19 concurrent viewers. But, so actually I got a lot to do about JavaScript because every time I start a live stream, I wanted to do some JavaScript, then I got distracted. I just talk about things and I never get to do what I actually need to do. Because like usually when I do live stream, like I talk about like just what I just did, 20 minutes about the format. It doesn't benefit me. You see, to you guys, maybe many of you find it fun and informative, right? But it doesn't do anything to me, to my website. That's not the work I need to do. I got lots of work I need to do. So anyway, so if you guys like my stuff, donate. Okay, go to xahlee.info, donate to me. Okay, so let's see what so I digressed into the linter. So I don't use linter. And flight checker, a lot of people use it. I actually never quite get what it is. So I don't use it. Okay, so let's see. So you can see the point Xah is trying to get us to higher levels. Okay, absolutely, this great, fantastic. Thank you for the show. Gotta jet. Let's focus on Java. Okay, let's go back to JavaScript. Okay, so now, so JavaScript. So we were talking about functional programming style guide. Okay, so we talked about something you never should do and what you should do instead. JavaScript and never use with, and never assign array by index. Okay, never use delete operator, because if you use that on array object, then it will create sparse array. We talked about before. It will create sparse array. You don't want that. Okay. So, but if you use a delete operator on object, it will it's no good, because a better operator for deleting properties on object is the reflect.delete property. Because you know what, that's another pothole in JavaScript, because when you use delete operator, and if your argument is not a object, let's say delete, let's say 3, you just say delete 3. 3 is just a number or a string. Let's say delete hello world. What happened? It will return true, meaning success. Because you see, delete object, it returns true when property exists and is deleted. It returns true also when property does not exist. And it will also return true when the argument is not even an object. Okay, so this like fucked up fuck. Okay, so the return value is not indication of success or not. It just like it's useless. It's almost like always return true. Whenever it return false, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so that's why they created in 2015 they created reflect.delete property. Okay, it basically do exactly the same thing, except it returns true only if the key exists and is deleted, or if the key does not exist. So, but it basically it returns true when you know for sure it's given a property and it no longer has that key. Okay, so this is this is another one of the JavaScript fix. Like they have lots of it in 2015, 10 years ago, and then since then every year. So JavaScript is a language filled with these holes. Like every time you have like 100 methods, you have to know which one is you shouldn't use or which one you should use, because that one fixes that issues. JavaScript is like that. Okay, so never use delete operator. Okay, and okay, so then never use the argument object. The argument object was created because before the rest parameter was invented. Okay, the rest argument, the rest parameter for a function means when you need to define a function that allows it to take infinite number of arguments, such as plus or multiply. If you want to write a function like plus, you might say plus 3, 4, 5 or 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. The number of argument varies. So that's when you need to use this rest parameter feature, which allows you to have a function to accept arbitrary number of arguments. Okay, now this is the rest parameter is created in 2015. Okay, well before that, there are many techniques to make this happen. Okay, so one of the technique in other programming languages such as Perl is you have this argument object, which is like a variable, a predefined variable in a function. Whenever you define a function, that variable got created, and that variable is an array that holds the values of the argument passed to the function. So you can always know, what arguments are passed to the function by the arguments, the predefined variable. Okay, so this is when JavaScript does not have the the dot rest parameter syntax dot, but it has this argument way to do it, to do basically the same thing. It allows the function to know, to accept any arbitrary number of parameters. Okay, this is one mechanism to make that happen. So which one is better depending on the language? Perl uses this way, and but the rest parameter is it's better because it's explicit. Because then when you define a function, you can know exactly, whether it accepts arbitrary number of arguments. But if you use the argument object, if you design your programming language to be this way, then if you have the argument object, then you don't even need any parameters in the functions at all. Because any user, when they define a function, they can just have empty parameters because they're gonna just use the arguments object, right? They don't need to have actual declare any parameters. So that means when you have this argument object, that kind of make people not, it defeats the purpose of having explicit parameters in the function. So, which is not very good, because usually you want people to be explicit about what the function accept. Also, when you do this, if you design your programming language using this argument method, then your function does not know at compile time how many arguments it takes. It will only know when it's called. So that creates another kind of problem. You will not be able to check correctness and so on. Okay, and it, so any function can pass any number of argument basically. So there's no, you lose the specification for functions. So this is very bad. So that's why they created the rest parameters. So in 2015, but the JavaScript people, they try to maintain backward compatibility, so they don't remove, very bad. So don't use argument object. Okay. Okay, so looks like so I got, there are more things, but I wanted to do actually you see, I wanted to do, so let's do them. Okay. And then that's it for today. Okay, so how long have I been? I've only been going 35 minutes. Okay. Yeah, am I? Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Focus on HTML has gone back to the dark ages. It's one of the worst ideas since MS-DOS. Is it? HTML. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to do, so this is F#. Oh yeah, so there's some tips I want to tell you guys, which is advanced functional programming. Okay. So, and okay, let me finish this. Okay, so let me just finish this. Okay, so never use the argument object and never use the property constructor. Okay, the property constructor is supposed to, okay, there's some edit I want to do. Okay, so let me just work on my stuff. Okay, so let's say functional programming, search for. Okay, go to it, search for argument. Never use the argument. Don't use the argument. It was this. It was designed before REST parameter syntax were introduced. Okay, let's just say that. Clarify. Okay, so we want to yeah. Okay. Refresh. Function argument destructure. Okay, that's another feature. Never use the property constructor, because constructor, it's meant to let you know which function created the object, something like that. But the problem is that JavaScript, the mechanism is extremely convoluted. So the way it is, a user can change the constructor to anything they like, and also the parent's constructor. So the bottom line is that it's never guaranteed you know, when you use a property constructor, you can never guarantee what it will correctly work. Okay, so it just does not work. It will work when you use the dot constructor property for building objects, such as the building, you know, functions, array, object, data object, date object, function object, data object, okay, regular expression object. But when you use it on your user created object, it's not guaranteed to work. Okay, the intention was that you use this, the way you call it normally is to know, like like to know which function created this object. Okay, so that's what this constructor property is supposed to mean. Okay, but that's no good. Okay, so I want to make some modifications. Okay, so let me go to it. So update the date. Okay, so property key type prototype. Okay. Actually, maybe doing this is not a good idea because it's probably better if I just keep talking. Okay. Yeah, because if I just gonna work on my website, it's probably boring. Okay, because what I'm doing is like I want to make some improvement, because before, you see, the link is embedded in a word, but in some situation I think it's better if you move the link outside. So if people want to know what is the prototype property, they can click here, and so go back. So instead of, you know, instead of embedded link in the wording here, because we will kind of confuse the wording. So basically what I'm saying here is that where is the constructor property came from? Basically, it's a magical property. Okay, by specification, every function has a property key, a string of string type, property key named prototype. Okay, so that is where it came from. So so this should be lowercase property key string. Let's not say string. Okay, so you know, so if people want to know more about that prototype key, I mean, where does this prototype key came from? Well, then you go here. Then again, it's magic. Okay, every function defined by the keyword function has a magical property key of string type prototype named prototype by specification. Okay, it's just by spec. Okay, it's just there. And where does the constructor came from? Again, it's like a magic, but it's more complex, because, you know, it came from the prototype, then you got an object, then you got the prototype got the property, I mean, whose value is the object, data object, and that data object has a property called constructor. So whenever you say dot constructor, it's actually querying an object's parent via the dot prototype. That's how it finds a parent, and the parent has a dot prototype value, whose value is the object, and that object has a key constructor. So that's anyway, very, very complicated. Okay. So okay, so maybe that's it for today. So let's see, 42 minutes. I got some. Okay, so let's work on this one. This one is easy to work on. So let me tell you guys about this one. Standard object constructor. Okay, so we are still on the constructor page. So on the constructor page, you can move down move down. So let's get into detail. Okay, so where does the constructor property came from? Well, it's basically by spec. Okay, because every function has a property key named prototype, and that key's value is a data object, and by spec, that object has a key named constructor, and the value of that key is the function itself, which is the so it's kind of convoluted. Okay, so this is why the constructor property came from. Okay, so anyway, then you go down, then what's the purpose? Well, the constructor property is meant to let you find the creator function of a object, but it's not reliable. Okay, so typically this is how people use it. You define a function, then you say new something, new that class or function, so that creates a object. Then you can say object.constructor to try to see what function or class created it. That's how it is supposedly to be used. Okay, but not reliable, because people can assign value to it anytime. Okay, anytime. Okay, so value. So what is the value then? Depends. Okay, so that because of the parents, because of that, then therefore it's that. Okay, so tip: do not use the constructor property. Why? Because the value can change anytime. Okay, and even the property key can be removed. So okay, and here is an actual example. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to remove the console log to something better. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so let's see. Every function has a property key prototype except our function. So evaluated, everything returns true, because so it kind of verifies the statement. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to change the console.log to console.assert. So let me do that. Yeah, so do that, and then do that. What? Do that. Okay, so now run everything. Now there's no return value, because what console assert does is that if whatever the argument, if it's true, and it doesn't do nothing. Okay, so if your assertion, whatever you think is true, is actually indeed true, it doesn't do anything. Only when the argument is false, then it will print, just like console.log. It'll say assertion failed. Okay, so when you change console.log, before it just print true. But if you change it to assert, it makes your intention more clear, because you are trying to tell people, you are claiming that this value will evaluate to be true. And if that is actually the case, don't do anything. So when there's no output, that means this assertion is all valid. Okay, so we are trying to verify every function has a property key named prototype. Okay, so everything is true. Now go down, search for log. Now again, there's something we want to change here. Run it. First of all, true. Okay, fantastic. Now change to assert, then run it. Fantastic. Okay, now put it back. Now search for log again. So there's more to change. First of all, run it. So typical use of constructor property. Okay, now let's change that to assert. Run it. No output. Fantastic. Okay, now put it back. Search for log again. So there's one more part we need to change. Actually, more than this more. So run it. First of all, true to verify whatever we are trying to verify here. So what exactly we are trying to verify? I forgot. This value of property key. Okay, so we are trying to check the value of property key. So first of all, you define a class function, then you define an object that's new, that class. Okay, you create a new object, then you define a get prototype. So you get the parent of the new object. pp. Okay, so then you check, does the object JJ has the constructor key? False. That means the constructor property is not its own object. Okay, now does the pp object, which is a JJ's parent, does that have the constructor key? Yes. Okay, so this is actually yes. And the pp constructor value is the function itself. So you run it, it's all true. Now, so let's change to press that. Okay, now run it. Fantastic. Okay, we changed them to assert. Put it back. Now search for next. There's so what is this one? True. Okay, so the value of a property key constructor is not guaranteed to be the constructor function. Okay, this is when something nasty happened, unexpected, because user can change it anytime. So let's run it. It's false. Okay, I mean it's true. So now let's change it to console alert assert. Run it. No output. Fantastic. Okay, so let's make a comment somewhere to indicate where did it. So that's an object. Then this is a function dot prototype. So you set the function's prototype to that. Okay, object. Then constant. So you create a new object out of this ff class. Then when you say, the constructor of that, it become false because of this line. You see, because that line changed the parent. Okay, so we should make a comment somewhere. We can say change the prototype of f. You see, so when you do that, then unexpected happens. Okay, so let's put it back. Search for next log. And okay, so this is testing of all the built-in constructors. So showing arrays constructor. So create array AA. Okay, then does it has own key constructor? No, false. Okay, does it? So what's the parent? Well, the parent is array.prototype. Then does the prototype array.prototype has the property key constructor? Yes. Now, what is the value of that? Well, that is array. Okay, then and it is also equals to array AA.constructor. Okay, if you evaluate this, it's all true. So you see, it's all true. Now close that. So you can see this part is verifying the array object, and this section verifies the date object. We create a date object. This section verifies a function object. So now you run it, it's all true. Now, but let's change them to assert. Okay, so press, that's my own command. So let's do press. Now repeat last command. Do it. Evaluate the whole thing. No output. Fantastic. It means all the assertion came out true. Okay, now put it back. Syntax color the whole page. Search for log. There's no more occurrence. Okay, now show the whole thing in browser. So we finished it. We finished updating all console.log to console.assert for this page on constructor property. Okay, I think that's it for today. So hey dude, Alex dude, the informaticist, you should write some modes for 0AD just for fun. People would like it. Now, what is 0AD? I don't know exactly what is 0AD. Hi Xah, I noticed you stopped using the Kinesis today. How come you switched? For fun or freshness? Yeah, you haven't watched my videos for a long time. I stopped using Kinesis like 3 years ago. Okay, I started to use Glove 80. Perhaps that's what you meant. So I used Glove 80 in the past 2 or 3 years. Okay, then for all my live stream. Then about 2 months ago, 2 or 3, I started to using the Ultimate Hacking Keyboard 80, UHK 80. Why? Because they sent it to me. It's new, so I'm doing kind of a plugin, review for them. It's very good. I enjoy it very much. I like them both very much. Okay. So I think that's it for today. So, you guys can, if you don't know about the keyboard stuff, let me go to it. Go to Xah Lee. So go to xahlee.info, HTTP no S. Okay, search for it. For Xah code, you'll find it. Okay, then you first of all go all the way down to the bottom. You pay me, donate to me. Okay, if you like my stuff, you go down here. PayPal me, Patreon, Amazon gift card, or PayPal. Okay, fantastic. If you do $100, if you have a job. Now, so here, then you go to xahlee.info. You go to a keyboard section. So there are 1,000 articles on keyboard, on keyboard, on keyboard layout, on ergonomic keyboard, on keyboard history, on typewriters, on keycaps, on key switch mechanisms, everything. For example, trackballs, video reviews. So these are some of my best videos. Okay. Xah Talk Show on keyboard videos. Okay. The collection of my my best, each one of these is 1 hour. Okay, so that's Kinesis 360. This is Glove 80, fantastic. This is fantastic. This is Svalbard. Okay, Svalbard, fantastic. Okay, I haven't used it yet. I will. Okay, so then Kinesis 360, then Expose, also another fantastic. And this is Ultimate Hacking Keyboard 60. This before my current 80. Okay, now look at me. That's Beethoven here. Okay, so so that's about the keyboards. Okay, so if you guys haven't, it looks like it's a cool thumb cluster. Yeah. So 3 months ago, they have, they sent me, wait, don't I have a UHK 80 here? Oh, I don't. So that's a fantastic mouse. A friend, one of you guys, a friend sent it to me from China. I should actually take it out, use it, because this mouse got buttons. Okay, because this mouse got buttons, because now I wanted to use buttons anyway. So Ultimate Hacking Keyboard 80. I should put the, I got to link. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I should. So anyway, but you go to my keyboard blog, you'll see it linked right there. Okay, so okay, that's it. Bye, guys. Yeah, check them out. I need to have Bluetooth. Okay, so Svalbard, they do have like Bluetooth feature. I mean, not. So you need to check out, contact them. They got a website. They also got a Discord. Tell them Xah sent you. Okay. So yeah, Bluetooth is required. I don't know what's the current state, but the way it was that you can, I forgot what's the thing. You can like install a Bluetooth module. Yeah, I forgot what's the thing, but the guy is using it. He showed me, if you want. So so anyway, you go to his Discord, his website, you'll find information about that. String on finger joint, yeah, I don't know yet. Okay, so bye guys.